Hey guys, and welcome back. It is the beginning of a brand new semester, and I just wanted to take this moment here to share some strategies on how to stay on top of your classes. If you're new here, my name is Kat and I am a veteran at school now. I'm in my 5th and final year at UBC studying business. Throughout my undergrad, I've taken a lot of courses. I think I'm coming up on my 46th course by the end of this term. So, I've been around and I've definitely had my ups and downs as a student. Going back to my 1st and 2nd year though, I have to admit I was not the greatest student. My grades were actually significantly lower than what they are compared to my upper years, so 3rd, 4th, and 5th year. The turning point for me was discovering the things that I'll be sharing in this video. A little formula that has helped me understand my course materials much better than purely relying on my short-term memory. The grades just subsequently came out higher as a result of better study techniques. The main idea here is building a strong foundation in your learning. One more thing before I dive into the meat of this video, especially for the younger viewers that might just be starting out university. I really hope you don't tie your worth and your success to your grades. Because while grade is a really good measurement of progress, it does not do an accurate job of measuring intangible things like hard work, effort, experience. Oftentimes the weight of our grades comes from 1 or 2 exams, but it never actually factors in the other key components that are happening around us in our life. You could have had a horrible week leading up to your final exam. It doesn't mean you didn't get a lot out of the course by the end of it. So I hope you just stay encouraged during your semester or, during work. Don't discredit the whole process just because that final grade does not reflect what you wanted or expected. But enough rambling, let's get right into this video. First strategy that has helped me stay on top of my courses is actually going through all the course outlines at the beginning of the semester and noting down all the assignments, quizzes, and exam dates and consolidating that into one calendar. I do this so that I can see and anticipate all the upcoming deadlines, and it just helps me mentally prepare myself better. This is crucial, especially for group projects. So in business school, there are a lot of group assignments, but I think this applies to engineering, science projects, literally any faculty. Oftentimes, these projects require work to be done in phases. If you only rely on your professor to remind you the final due date, like the week before it's due, it's not going to end well. So by mapping out the due dates, you kind of see your timeline ahead of you. Personally, I like to write out my calendar. What I like to do is I like to write out my tasks and color code them according to course number. I can literally just look at it and in 2 seconds I can tell that, hey, on Sunday I have a quiz for my advanced financial accounting course. Just by mapping it out, color coding it, which I like to do. I find it kind of therapeutic. I am mentally prepared and I can see, hey, this week I have 3 things due. I know I need to buckle down. Using Google Calendar, your iPhone notes, Notion, those are all great things. Personally, I like to write things out. I'm a little bit old-fashioned that way. Second strategy that has helped me tremendously is actually reading the textbook and recommended course materials. Now, I know that's probably not what you want to hear. But I never said that in this video these tips are going to be easy and we're going to be cutting corners. These are things that just work well for me in building my foundations in learning, and I truly think that reading the textbook can be very beneficial. Now, especially for accounting students, because a lot of the concepts that we learn in class are based off of the theories in the textbook. So one major benefit of reading the textbook is getting a different explanation on the same concept. And this just helps you get a better understanding of what you're learning in the classroom. To make reading the textbook more tangible, something I like to do is sectioning things off. This also works in line with strategy number 1. By knowing what I need to do in the coming week and what I'm expected to learn, I then time block in that week to read the chapter. I personally like to section off the reading in itself. So maybe one day I would spend the day reading half the chapter and then I'll finish the rest of the chapter on another day. So this leads me to my third strategy, which is time blocking. I actually use time blocking not only for my studies, but also in my corporate job as well. Personally, I just hate the feeling of knowing I have something to do in the back of my head and then I'm out like doing another activity where I'm like spending time with family and friends. Setting up time blocks to do work has served me really well because I know that in that time frame I need to push myself to get that job done so that I could actually enjoy my leisure time afterwards. Fourth strategy, now I don't know if this is obvious, but the fourth strategy is writing down all the questions that you have as you're studying and actually asking those questions in office hours or at the end of class. I think in first and second year, I would have a lot of questions, but then I'll just kind of put it off thinking like, oh, I think they're really small questions that probably won't show up on the exam or are not that fundamental in my learning. But oftentimes when you do have those questions, you don't necessarily know how important they are in building that base for the concept. Like a lot of things are much more interrelated than you might think. Now it depends on your course as well, but just recognizing like what I'm studying, if I don't understand something, it's crucial that I get that answered and I understand it. I try to maximize the office hours that are given to us by our profs. They're the subject matter experts, and so we should just, you know, make the most out of their time, and also because they're the ones that are creating the exams, so you want to know what they want you to know. Right. The fifth and final strategy is creating chapter summary sheets. So here I have my chapter summary sheets. This is something that I discovered works really well for me since I was in second year, but I didn't become efficient at creating these until like my third and fourth year. Basically what I do is I create a summary sheet for every single chapter. This is an example. Summarizing everything you need to know in that one chapter on one sheet of paper. I just find it so relieving when it's the day or two before the exam and you literally just need to carry like 3-4 pieces of paper. Basically, you don't have to carry your textbook to look back on one small concept. You can just whip out these summary sheets and be like, oh yeah, I went through this chapter, here it is. That has actually helped me a lot in minimizing my stress leading up to final exams. A huge part of like exam writing is the confidence that you go into writing the exam. So if I ever felt like, you know, I missed a chunk of information, it's gonna affect my whole attitude going in and writing the exam. I'm gonna start second guessing all the other chapters that I might have been super comfortable with, but because of this one little thing, it can throw me completely off. Obviously, I kind of like discovered that over the years and through many exams, but now I just do what I can to minimize the stress. And I guess if you're an accounting student, making these summary sheets for your accounting chapters can be really beneficial as you move into the post-grad space, because everything we're going to be doing, all the modules we're going to be doing for our CPA studies is built on our foundation in what we had learned like in school, plus more. At least like with these summary sheets, you can go back to them whenever you need without having to read through 3, 4, 5 textbooks. Anyways, that is all for today's video. I hope you found that super useful. Stay tuned for more and see you in the next. Bye!